Okay, so we will start today with the same kind of questions that we were doing in the last class. Today we will be more opening to that extension of those topics in the graph portion. Today we will learn about graph as well, okay?
Okay.
So in the last class, let us revise the things that we have learned. So the first and the foremost thing in the polynomial is first thing is variable. The second thing is known as coefficient. If I write ax, this a is known as coefficient. I think you remember this.
Yes.
Then I told you about constant ax plus b, where b is known as constant. Then we have number of terms. When I was talking about number of terms, I was talking about unlike terms. Then after the terms, I was talking about degree. And when we speak of a degree, we mean that the highest exponential power of the variable. The highest exponential power of the variable is known as degree of the expression. And based
What
on
if there are like many variables? What?
okay, many variables
What's
means
the highest?
suppose I can write it like this.
Yes. So what the degree is?
4.
Okay, the highest out of everything.
The highest exponential power of all the variables. You can say many variables.
Of the variables. Okay.
Of the variable is known as degree of the polynomial. So degree of this polynomial is 4. Sometimes you may be given a degree like this. What is the degree of this?
3.
This 1 and plus 2 will add up. Okay, if that was x only, it could have been added. Both are in multiplication. So variables, if you count the total variables power is 3. 2 plus 1 will be 3. You can't add them, but as a part you have to understand in a way that they can be added. Alright, but that question will not be asked. So let us make it simple. So you understood what is the degree. Then I told you about the sixth category, which was known as polynomial, and I told you if the exponential power of all the variables in an expression is a whole number, it is known as a polynomial, or else it is just an expression. All right, any doubt up to here? Okay. Then if I ask you about the polynomials, so based on the classification of polynomials, they are of two types. Based on the classification of the polynomials, they are of two types. The first type is the first kind of polynomial is, I will say, based on the number of terms. Based on the number of terms. If it has a single term, it is known as monomial. It is known as monomial. If it has got two terms, it is known as binomial. It is known as binomial. If it has got three terms, it is known as trinomial. And if it has got more than 3 terms or 4 terms, it is known as polynomials. In fact, the terms having the one term, single term, triple term are also known as polynomials, but specifically they can be known as monomial. I can write the examples of these. The example is x square, x cube, 2x. This is monomial. If I talk about binomial, the examples are x plus 1, x square plus x, y cube plus y. If I talk about trinomial, it is y plus x plus z, x plus 1 plus y plus 1. It can be anything, but having three terms. It can be y square as well, x cube as well, z to the power 100. So the power doesn't matter. What matters is the number of terms. And if you count the number of terms, how you can count it varies with the plus sign between them. It varies with the plus sign between them, having different variables or different powers, because you can't add them, unlike terms. Has to be 3. So for polynomial, you can write x plus 4 plus y plus z, that is a polynomial. Okay. Now on the basis of exponential power, or we can say degree. On the basis of degree, if it has got 1, degree is 1, we term it as linear polynomial. We term it as linear polynomial. For example, I can write it as x plus 2, or simply I can write x, or x minus 3, or 2x plus 3. The general form, I am also going to write the general form. The general form is ax plus b. What is the general form? Ax plus b. Okay, where a and b are the constants and x is a variable. Now coming to the second part. So it is known as quadratic. It is known as quadratic. Okay, I am also going to tell you the graph of this. The graph of this is going to be the linear. The graph of this is going to be the linear. Linear means it is a straight line. Now with the power of 2, if I term it as, it is termed as quadratic. It can be written like this. The simple quadratic is just x square, and you can write x square plus 3x plus 4, or you can write ax square plus bx plus c. This is known as quadratic.
So
Alright. Yes, tell me.
basically the degree is 2. For the highest degree is 2.
Yeah, the highest degree is 2. The highest degree is 2. Then the highest degree is can be 3 as well, which are known as cubic. So for example, it can be x cube plus 3x square plus 4x plus 2. Or it can be, if I write the general form, it is going to be ax cube plus bx square plus cx plus d, where a, b, c, d are constants, x is a variable. So this is the general form. So in the cubic, the power 3 must be there, or else you can't have anything, it's okay, but the power 3 must be there, so a cannot be 0. In a quadratic, a cannot be 0, b and c can be 0. You can have only term with x square, but it is not with px plus c. A can't be 0. Similarly, a can't be 0 here as well. Linear means you must have a variable of x with it, coefficient of a. Are you getting it? So these are the three kinds of polynomial. In that we have to study this part. Quadratic we will take in July, because June you are going for holidays. I am also going for holiday. So till June we will, till May end we will try to finish this linear, and from July onwards, if we have finished this, we will take the quadratic, or else we will go with the linear only. Okay. Okay, the first choice for you is either you can go with the graph or you can go with the algebra. So what part you want to take? Both are different parts, but both belong to the same topic only. You have to learn one or the other someday for sure. So graph. Okay, let us start with the graph. So first of all, we will start with the graph of linear. Linear means you have a line in this, it is a straight line. Okay, and how to make the graph? So to make the graph, we must have two axes. So one axis is known as x-axis. This axis is known as x-axis. This axis is known as y-axis. Okay. Now, suppose I am writing a first, you can write your first linear polynomial. Tell me any linear polynomial of your choice.
Oh. Well,
You can say anything.
X plus 1.
X plus 1. Okay, you are saying x plus 1. Okay, this color is really irritating. I thought that it will work.
I can't see the green above. Okay.
No, it's good now. It was really irritating. So x plus 1. So we have taken x plus 1. Now x plus 1 is what? It is a polynomial. It is a polynomial. Now if it is a polynomial, we have to name it. So we will name it as p of x. What is the name? P is simply a name. And we are saying p of x means polynomial in x. What is the polynomial in x? It is equal to x plus 1. Okay. Let us draw the graph of this. So how to draw the graph? We will term this as a value. This x plus 1 is a value. We will term it as a value, and value we will draw on y-axis. I think you have learned the data handling. On the x-axis you have something, on the y-axis you mark the corresponding data in which you make this rectangular bar graph. Are you aware of this? But here, so there are bar graph, there are line graph. You remember the line graph? Then there is a graph like this, if you have learned it.
Yeah.
So you show the points. So same, we will show the points. We will show the corresponding points here as well. Sorry. So what we will do, we will show the corresponding points. So y is equal to x plus 1. So we will make the graph. So how we will make the graph? We will write x, we will write y. Let us take 2 points, only 2 points. So first you take x is equal to 0, then what will y come as? 1. You take x is equal to minus 1, what will y come as? 0. See this? Are you aware of this? Minus 1, this will become minus 1 plus 1, 0. On 0, this will become 0 plus 1, 1. Understood? So let us...
Minus 1 plus 1 is 0.
Yes. If I take x as minus 1, okay, how to calculate the value? So to calculate the value, we write the, for which we want the value. Suppose if I ask you what is P1. So instead of x, you will write 1. So what is 1 plus 1? 2. P1 is what? 2. If I ask you what is P0, you will say, okay, the function is 0 plus 1. This is going to be 1. If I ask you what is P of minus 1, you will say, sir, minus 1 plus 1, which is 0. So at x is equal to 0, the value is 1. At x is equal to minus 1, the value is 0. So I am marking those points here. So this is minus 1 and this is 1. Sorry. At x is equal to 1, it is 0. No. At x is equal to 0, it is 1. And x equal to minus 1, it is 0. So these are the 2 points. Can you see those 2 points?
Yes.
No, sir. So let me show you. So now if I join these 2 points, what you will find? You will find a straight line. You will always find a straight line, and every point on this straight line will follow this equation y is equal to x plus 1. You might be thinking, sir, you draw only 2 points. How can you are saying for all the x? Let us check. Let us check. So if I take x is equal to 3, so where is x is equal to 3? What is y going to be? 4. Okay, just check this out. Check this out. When x is equal to 3, what is y? 4. When x is equal to 2, what is y? 3. When x is equal to 1, what is y? 2. Are they all falling on the same line? So the graph y is equal to ax plus b. Okay, I'm again telling you, the graph y is equal to ax plus b is always a straight line. Is always a straight line. Now we have to draw out the information from this straight line. What is the information that we draw out from this straight line? So there are three basic information. The first information is, what is the slope of the line? And if you remember in the last class, I told you about the slope. Did I told you about the slope? Tan theta,
Yes.
y upon x. So the slope is always the value which is the coefficient of x. So slope is always a. This slope is also known as rate. This is also known as, you can say, speed. This is also known as tan theta. This is also known as y upon x, and this is also known as gradient. This is also known as rise upon run. You may see the same value in the different forms. For example, I can write one like this, I can write one like this, I can write like one like this, I can write one like this, I can write one like this, I can write one like this. So there are many ways to write one. So there are many ways to ask what is the slope of the graph. They may ask you what is the rate of change. So you have to look at the coefficient of x. They may ask you what is the slope of the graph. They may ask you what is the tan theta of the graph. They may ask you what is the gradient of the graph. They will ask you what is the rise upon run. They may ask you what is y upon x. All the things are having the same value, that is the coefficient of x. That is the deciding factor, that how much you have moved in x, that much you will move in y. For 1 unit of x movement, how many movement you are having for y is known as rise upon run. Is known as, this is known as rise, this is known as run. For 1 unit towards the right, how many units you are moving towards the above. So this is also known as rate. For example, you are going to buy a vegetable, so every 1 kg how much rate you have to pay? It is 20 rupees per kg. So for every 1 kg you will go 20 units up. 1 kg 20 units up. So it will be a straight line. Are you getting it? The things which are in a direct proportion. Last year I taught you about direct proportion. If you remember, what is the requirement for two quantities to be in direct proportion? So that it was y1 upon x1 is equal to y2 upon x2 is equal to constant. y1 upon x1 is equal to y2 upon x2 is equal to constant. All right? Any doubt? Okay. So that means the first thing that you can draw out from the graph is what is the slope. So I am giving you a graph y is equal to 4x plus 7. Can you tell me what is the slope of the graph? How much? 4.
Wow. 4, yes. So, yeah, he got it.
Can you tell me what is the slope of this graph?
1
Minus 1.
minus 1.
Can you tell me what is the slope of this graph?
Minus 3.
Can you tell me what is the slope of this graph?
Minus 5.
Very good. So the first thing you can draw out from the graph is slope. Any doubt? But you may not see the questions like this in a simpler form. So sometimes you may be given the question like this: 2y is equal to minus 3x plus 7. Now what is the slope of this graph? So you have to keep y on this side and take 2 on the other side. So it will become minus 3 by 2 plus 7 by 2. So the slope of the graph will be minus 3 by. Any doubt? You have to write the equation in this form, and then whatever is the coefficient of x is the slope. But you may not find the equation many times in this manner. Sometimes you may be given the question like this: 2y plus 3x minus 7 is equal to 0. So you have to reconvert this equation in this form. I hope now you are getting it. So how you will do? 2y is equal to minus 3x plus 7 and y is equal to minus 3 by 2x plus 7 by 2. So slope is minus 3 upon 2. Understood? So I am going to give you some equations. 2x plus 4y plus 8 is equal to 0. Can you tell me what is the slope of this graph? How much?
A minute.
So if I ask you, the general form of the straight line is ax plus by plus c is equal to 0. The slope is always going to be minus a upon b. Check this out. The slope is always going to be minus a upon b, which you will get as minus 2 upon 4, which is minus 1 by 2. So you have got straight line in two various forms. One form is y is equal to ax plus b. In this form, what is the slope? A. Very simple. But in this form, what is the slope? It is minus a upon b. Any doubt? Can you tell me the slope?
Yeah, no, for the previous question, I do basically minus 2 by 4, which is 1 by 2.
Yeah, minus 1 by 2 only. Whatever way you do, if you remember this trick, you will do it more quickly. Minus coefficient of x divided by coefficient of y. You don't need to take it on the other side. In your mind, you can calculate. Hey, you are an Olympiad, tricky student. So you can learn these things from me. Okay? You don't need to calculate. Okay. So now again I am telling you. 3x plus 4y plus 8 is equal to 0. What is the slope?
Minus 3 by 4.
Good. Tell me minus 3x minus 4y plus 8 is equal to 0.
3 by 4?
No.
No, sorry. Yeah.
Minus 3 by 4 only.
That's fine.
Okay. If they are having the same sign, the slope is negative. If they are having the same sign, the slope is negative. If they are having the different sign, the slope is positive. On one side, if they are having on the one side. Suppose I ask you, what is 2x minus 4y plus 8 is equal to 0? What is the slope of this graph?
2x minus 2 by 4.
How much? 2 by 4. Okay, 1
2
by
by
2.
4.
You simplify it, 1 by 2. Okay,
Yeah,
that's why I am.
1 by 2.
Okay. Now tell me what is 3 minus 3x plus 5y plus 10 is equal to 0.
3 by 5.
3 by 5. So I hope that you are now confident on the slope. So if I can give you in two different forms, you can tell me. The one form can be written like this: 2y plus 7 is equal to minus 5x. What is the slope?
2 what? 2 2 I right? No, what? Huh?
I'm
No,
asking you the
sorry.
slope.
5 by 2. 5 by 2.
5 by 2, not minus 5 by 2, my dear.
Right, minus 5 by 2.
See, if they are on the same side, if they are having different signs,
Yeah.
then it is negative, then it is positive. But they are on the different side.
Different sides. Okay, I got it.
So you have to be very careful. Are you getting it?
Yeah. Got it.
Can you tell me
I
the
thought, I
slope?
thought inside. Yeah.
So now I am going to give you different questions. 2x plus 7y minus 4 is equal to 0. Can you tell me what is the slope?
2 by 7.
Minus 2 by 7, my dear.
What? How?
See,
Oh,
this you
okay.
will take on the other
Yeah,
side.
okay,
It will
yeah,
become
okay.
minus.
I understand.
What is the slope?
Minus 7 by 2.
Come
No,
on.
no. 2 by
Minus 2 by 7, dear.
minus 2 by 7.
Why you are stuck? You have to
No,
take
no,
this.
I thought it was. Got it.
Minus 3x plus 4y is equal to 8.
Um, Minus 3 by 4.
Plus 3 by 4.
3 by 4. Okay. Got it.
3x is equal to 4y.
3 by 4.
Yes. Minus 3x is equal to 4y. Tell me.
Yeah, so minus 3 by 4. No.
Yes. Why? Where are you
Yes, minus
confident?
3 by 4.
If this is plus, this is minus.
Minus 3 by 4.
Correct. So by looking at the equation, very polynomial, can you tell me the slope?
Looking. Wait, sorry. Okay. So, minus. Huh?
There are
Oh,
two different lines. What is the slope of this line?
the one above is minus 2 by 4. 1 by 2. Plus.
So what is the slope of this line?
The next one is 2.
So what is the product of two slopes?
It's a product.
Product of the two slopes. So 2 into minus 1 by 2. So it is going to be minus 1. So we will say if
Plus
2
2.
minus 1
The
only.
plus 2. No, so the plus 2 above.
That
Gone.
2 in, you see, I am talking about only slope.
Okay.
Slope is
Then
only 2, minus 1 by 2. Why you are worrying about 8 and 2? I didn't spoke about that. We are talking about only slope. So if the slope of two lines, if the product of the slope of two line is negative 1, we say that those two lines are perpendicular. we say that those two lines are perpendicular. All right.
Yes.
So let me show you as well. So what was the two straight line? Y is equal to minus half x plus 2. So first I am going to show you the graph of y is equal to minus half x. This is the graph of y is equal to minus half x. If the slope is negative, the straight line is like this. If the slope is positive, the straight line is like this. Okay?
So it goes opposite if it's negative.
Yes. So if I add plus 2 to it, then every part of the line will be moving 2 units towards the above. So I will add 2 units above it, and you can see that the line has shifted 2 units above this. So that means it is known as a vertical translation. It is known as vertical translation. The line has translated 2 units upward. And who decides that part? That is being decided by the constant.
Yes.
B.
Yeah.
That is being divided by the B. Ax plus B. B decides how much line will be moved vertically upwards. If we go for
Or
this,
down.
if we go, or down. If it is negative, it will go down. If I write the second case, it is going to be 2x plus 8. So second case is y is equal to 2x plus 8.
They are perpendicular.
And if I measure the angle between these two lines,
Right. Angle?
yes, it is going to be 90 degree. I told you if the product of two slope is minus 1, they are perpendicular to each other. By looking at the figure itself, you can make out this is 90 degree. Are you getting it?
Yeah. Because it's perpendicular. The 90 either way.
Yeah, this is not perpendicular. Actually, the slope accidentally came out, the product of the slope came out to be negative 1. And if the product of two slope is negative 1, they are always perpendicular to each other. That is a theorem.
Minus 1. Okay,
Yes.
what if it's 1?
1, nothing happens. The product is 1, nothing will happen. If the product is negative 1, then we will say that the lines are perpendicular to each other. Okay? Okay. Now there are 3 kinds of lines. You might be knowing this, but let me tell you in a way so that you can understand. So suppose you have a road like this. So there are 3 ways to walk on a road. Means there are 3 ways you can describe with the road. One way is you can move on a parallel to the road part. You can move like this. One way is the road can be formed in a junction so that there is some intersection between the two roads on which there is a square. So you can go on this road, this road, this road. So the line can intersect with each other. Are you getting it? The last way is I will walk on that road only. I will walk on that road only. So that means both the roads will coincide with each other. So there are only 3 kinds of straight lines. There are how many kinds of straight lines? 3 kinds. In actually there are 2 only. The third kind of straight line is not 2 straight lines, only single straight line. So if I say the lines can be parallel to each other. The lines can be parallel to each other. Okay? The lines can be intersecting with each other. And the lines can be coinciding with each other. Are you getting it? So when the two lines will intersect each other, when the slope is different, the slope of two lines is different, they will always ever intersect each other. They will one time for sure they will intersect each other. Are you getting it? At one time they will always intersect each other. So as you can see in this case, the slope of two lines are different. I can write many lines like this. So I am showing you the lines with a different slope. The first line I am going to show is x. What is the slope of this line? 1. I am just changing the slope and you will find the line is intersecting. 2x, I change it to 2x. If I change the slope from 2 to 3, again it will be intersecting. If I change from 3 to 4, again it will be intersecting. But if I write with any one of these slope and add something to it, that means I am shifting the line, then that line will be parallel and that will never intersect with that line. So which line you want to make parallel? 1x, 2x, 3x or 4x? 3x. So we will write the equation as 3x plus something. What should I add? Tell me. Any number of your choice. Except 0.
2.
2. Okay. 3x plus 2. Just see 3x plus 2. So I am hiding all the lines except 3x and 3x plus 2. So 3x and 3x plus 2 are always straight lines, but they are
So
parallel.
can you do 3x minus 2?
Yeah,
That also works.
yeah, 3x minus 2 will be 2 units below the x-axis and it will also never meet. It is also parallel line. All the lines having the same slope will be parallel to each other. It means you are walking on a parallel road. So you will ever from one road, suppose there is one road and there is a second road which is parallel to that. Then there is a third road which is parallel to that. Will you ever meet? Will they ever meet? Will the trail lines, there is a parallel to rail lines. Will they ever meet each other? If they ever meet each other, what will happen? The train will not go anywhere. The train will move on to the road. So it has to be on a straight line. Are you getting it?
Yes.
So they can't meet each other. So parallel lines means they are having the same slope. Slope is how slope is calculated. It is y divided by x. It is y divided by x. How much x you are moving when you are going to y. So that is how you can see that. That means the number which you are multiplying with the x, the coefficient of x is decided the slope of the straight line. And if the slope of two straight lines are different, they are always going to intersect each other. We will come to the point of intersection later, but you have to understand that if two lines are having the different slope, they will ever meet once in the lifetime. Always meet once a time. Okay, only one time they will meet.
Yeah, they can't meet more than that.
Because they don't have a U-turn. It is a straight line. They can meet if it is a U-turn. U-turn means it is a parabola. That means the graph of quadratic. I will show you. The graph of quadratic is a, see the graph of quadratic, x square. You can see it is a parabola. So you might be thinking it is going to meet only once. No, it can be meet. If I write x square minus 2, so let me hide all other lines.
No, so wait, you did square.
Yeah, quadratic. I was talking about quadratic. So quadratic means they can meet the x-axis twice. This is the x-axis. So they can meet the x-axis twice because they have a U-turn. The U-turn can be like this. The U-turn can be like this. Okay, it can. If I draw the graph of y is equal to minus x square. See this. And if I draw the graph of minus x
What's this
square.
called? This curve, whatever. What is it called?
Parabola. 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 It is a parabolic path. Quadratic is a parabola. You see, this graph is okay. So let me show you all the different graphs. So these graphs are known as concave up. This is a concave. You have learned that in physics, concave mirror, concave lens. This is a concave. So this is concave up. If I draw the other way, it will be concave down. This will be concave down. Are you getting it? Okay. So they can meet the x-axis once. They can meet each other twice. Sorry, they can meet each other twice. Why? Because they have a U-turn. They have a U-turn in the life. Are you getting it?
So those two lines meet each other twice, so does it touch the x-axis twice?
No, x-axis. Yeah, I am talking about x-axis. These two lines will also, I have not spoken about the, so let me change this value then. Let me see if I change the slope of this graph, will they meet each other as well? So I have changed the slope of the graph. No, with the slope of the graph also, they are not meeting. But with the x-axis, they will intersect 2 times for sure. Maximum 2 times, not more than 2, because they have got only one U-turn. For the cubic by the same logic, how many times it will have a turn? Tell me. See, straight line has no turn. It has, square has got one turn. So cubic will have how many turns? 2 turns. 2 turns. 2 turns.
Oh yeah, okay.
So it will meet how many times maximum? 3 times. Okay, let us check. So how the quadratic is being formed? The quadratic is formed by multiplying 2 linear. If I multiply x by x, I will get x square. If I multiply 3 linear, I will get a quadratic. Let us see the quadratic. So I am multiplying, first I am multiplying x.
If we multiply 3 times, we get cubic, right?
Yes. So I am multiplying 3 times. See this. First I am multiplying x minus 2 by x minus 3 by x minus 4. And if I show you only this graph, you will find this amazing. How many times it is touching the x-axis? 3 times. 1, 2,
2, 3.
It has got 2 turns. This is the maximum that you can have. For cubic, you can have maximum 2 turns. Why? Because you are multiplying these equations. How many times? 3 times. You are multiplying linear how many times? So this parabola may be because of these 2 terms. The first parabola is because of first 2 terms. The second parabola is because of other 2 terms. Are you getting it? Suppose I go
There's 4 terms. So there's 4 terms.
Turn is, this is one turn and then it is second turn. Only 2 turns. Turn means you have got a U-turn. So this is the first U-turn, this is the second U-turn. How you are saying 4 turn? The turning, if you are going like this.
I'm saying 4 terms because I heard you saying turns.
Okay, okay, fine. So if I multiply them by 4 terms, 4 different linear, what I will get? I will get biquadratic. And in that biquadratic, how many times will we have a turn? 3 turns we will have. And in that 3 turns, we will have.
It keeps on going that way.
Yes.
You can have as many terms as we can.
Yes. So can I show you that as well? So I am showing you very simple x minus 1 into x minus 2 into x minus 3 into x minus 4. And if I hide all of the other graph, you can see it is a W. What a beautiful,
Yeah.
what a beautiful graph. Accidentally it made. I made this. Okay. So this part, how many times it is intersecting the x-axis? So
4
1,
times.
2, 3, 4. And how many turns it is having? One turn here, one turn here, three turns. Three turns, but having four different zeros. Sorry, not zeros. Four different linear polynomial. Four different linear will form four different values of x on which they are meeting the x-axis. The x-axis, the graph is intersecting the x-axis. The graph is intersecting the x-axis four times. This is the maximum. It is not necessary that you will always get 4. If I raise the graph, whole graph by 2 units, it will never meet. See this? Where is the graph? This is the graph. So if I raise the whole graph by 2 units, so it will never meet.
Yeah. Oh.
So it is not necessary, but the maximum number of times in which we can get the graph, the zeros of the graph. Zeros means the value of the graph, if you see on the x-axis, is going to be 0. Is going to be 0. So these values are known as zeros of the graph, which is the second thing I am going to now tell you from the straight line.
So it doesn't necessarily have to touch the x-axis, but if it does, the maximum is depending on what it is.
The maximum is the degree of the polynomial.
Yes.
If the degree of the polynomial is 1, the maximum time it can touch is 1. If the degree of the polynomial is 2, the maximum time it can touch is 2. If the degree of the polynomial is 3, the maximum time it can touch the x-axis is 3. And if the degree of the polynomial is 4, the maximum time it can touch the x-axis is 4 times. It is not necessary. There can be no 0 at all. So the second thing I am going to talk you about the straight line is, the first thing I talk you about is y is equal to ax plus b. So the first thing I talked to you about is the slope. The second thing I am talking you about is the 0 of the polynomial. How to calculate the 0 of the polynomial? So it is very simple, my dear. Minus b upon a comma 0. How sir it is minus b upon a? So let us take y as 0 with ax plus b. I am taking the value of y is 0. 0 means the value of x at which y becomes 0. So if y becomes 0, the first thing that will happen is b will go on the other side. The second thing that will happen is a will come in the denominator. So x is equal to minus b upon a is the value at which the graph will become 0. So this is the second thing you should
Graph will become 0.
The value of the graph will become 0. You can see the value of the graph at these points when I am erasing this. The value of the graph at these points is what? 0. For other x, you are having different values. But for these values, this is 1, 2, 3 and 4. For these 4 values, what is the value of the graph? It is 0. But this is for biquadratic. But this is for biquadratic. We want for straight line. So let me see for the straight line. Just check for the straight line. What is the slope? What is the 0 of this graph? 0.
0.
What is the 0 of this graph? This graph. What is the 0? Let me change the color to green.
That's
The graph is 3x minus 2. Let me tell you the graph. The graph is 3x plus 2.
no. How do I find this though?
I am telling you. So what was the graph? The name of the graph was y is equal to 3x plus 2. means they are talking about this point. Now you are saying, sir, how can I look at the graph and tell you the point? Okay, you can't look at the graph and you can't tell me like that. But my question is, if I put y is equal to 0, then it will be 3x plus 2. So 3x will be equal to minus 2. So x is going to be minus 2 by 3, which I rightly said. It is, if you compare this with ax plus b, the 0 of the graph is going to be minus 2 upon 3, minus 2 upon 3, minus 2 upon 3. This point is minus 2 upon 3.
Okay, got it.
If I tell you the y is equal to 2x minus 4, what is the slope? The slope is 2. What is the 0? So the 0 is minus of minus 4 upon 2, which is equal to 2. Understood?
Yeah, 4 by 2, which is 2. Okay.
So with this I am going to end this class here. Okay? We will continue this on Friday. Chalo, bye. Hello.